Hello folks, we are here with the trade review from Wednesday, May 21st on pre-market AM and PM session Nasdaq Futures. Jumping into the daily chart, we can see that we have traded inside the daily BC over here after a nice rejection and spending some time above the fair value gap over here, and we traded into the consequent encouragement of the daily FVG. After that, we started going higher, and in yesterday we closed in red candle. After opening of today's trading day, we started going higher initially. After that, we started going lower. We will see this more in detail on lower time frames. Into the 15-minute chart, I would like to highlight the sell side liquidity from Monday's trading session at 9:15 over here. We have this sell side liquidity as well as the buy side liquidity from yesterday's trading session. You can see that we have several relative equal highs over here. That is too much smooth for the price action, and this is the place that is very favorable in price to be jagged. Now we jump into the 5-minute chart. I highlighted the new day opening gap over here in the 5-minute chart, as well as the opening range gap, the high and the low over here. We have also the consequent encouragement, that is the 50% of this opening range gap over here. You can see more detail that after we opened from 9:30, we started trading higher and cleared the buy side liquidity resting above these relative equal highs. That is also the consequent encouragement of the current new week opening gap. We kept going higher, and we reached to the new day opening gap of today's trading, and we had a kind of consolidation over here, and then started again rallying higher for the relative equal highs from yesterday's London session. And we spent a little time over here above the buy side liquidity. Then we started selling off sharply towards the daily inefficiency. Now we jump into the 1-minute chart, and here I'm showing the businesses for the AM session and pre-market. Over here you can see that I highlighted this 15-minute BC inefficiency, and you see the market traded into this inefficiency in 1-minute chart. After that, started selling off toward the 15-minute fair value gap. The bodies were respecting all over the above the 15-minute fair value gap's consequent encouragement, and then we started going higher. We spent a little bit time over here, and the first position I was entering going short, but I was entering going long. I apologize. And you can see the market triggered my stop loss because it was a little bit above the consequent encouragement. After that, I waited for the market, and you see the market once again tried to hit the top of the fair value gap in 15 minutes, and I entered over here. This level over here is also the consequent encouragement of this week, as you can see, and I entered based on the consequent encouragement of the week. So we started going higher. I aimed for 20 handles, and this 20 handle is placed inside this CD formed in a 1-minute chart, and you can see the perfect exit over here. And after that, market started strolling down inside the first presented fair value gap of this week's Monday. Then at 9:30 we opened in discount, and we immediately went above the 15-minute inefficiency. We kept going, and at 9:31 we created the first presented fair value gap, that is a type of BC. And you can see I entered over here in this candle at 9:33. Once it tapped into the top of the first presented fair value gap, after spending a little time in the upper portion of this inefficiency, the market started rallying higher and delivering my TP that was right above the consequent encouragement of the new week opening gap as well as the opening range gap. Then the market started going slowly higher, and finally we reached to the opening range gaps high as well as the new week opening gaps high. And after that, we spent a lot of time over here in consolidation phase. This consolidation phase over here was very interesting to me because they were creating very smooth sides both on buy side and sell side liquidities. And on the live stream I was mentioning, we have to wait for the market to purge one of the liquidity pools first, and then the other liquidity will be purged, and then we have a kind of retracement and the final move will be the move opposite to the first purge happens in the liquidity pool. And you can see over here, we initially, after creating this range, we initially cleared the sell side liquidity by this candle. Then we started going higher and trying to reach the opening range gap high. After that, we got rejected, and once again we went lower to sell side liquidity pool. And very soon we started rallying higher, and within 3 minutes we reached to the buy side liquidity and also purged and swept the orders above the buy side liquidity. Remember that this buy side liquidity is forming just below the new day opening gap for today, and here we have a very new dealing range, this low to this high. I have measured, as you can see, with the Fibonacci tool, and I highlighted the optimal trade entry area over here. All the candles you can see were staying in the upper portion of this area, and once we finished the business over here, the market started rallying higher, as the objective for me was this buy side liquidity from the relative equal highs I mentioned in the 15-minute chart. We can see also the 1.5 projection of this dealing range is sitting right below the buy side liquidity, and the market attacked to this inefficiency in this liquidity pool very fast and immediately. If you couldn't get into the position on this optimal trade entry, the market gave several other opportunities, like this inefficiency sitting over here. The market tapped into it twice, and after that started rallying higher. Also, if you missed this opportunity here, there was another opportunity on the first projection of the dealing range. Over here we have another BC form, and you can enter for going long towards this buy side liquidity pool in these two candles, and after opening immediately we deliver towards the liquidity pool I mentioned in the live stream. This is the business in the AM session and pre-market. Now we go to the PM session, and if you remember, I also highlighted this sell side liquidity from London's AM low, and this is the business related to PM session that I did. You can see over here is 131, and we created the first presented fair value gap in the PM session. Then the market started rallying higher, trying to reach the consequent encouragement of open range gap, but it failed, and the bodies were closing inside the first presented fair value gap for today's trading session. Then market started going lower slowly and slowly. We tapped into the first presented fair value gap of PM session and just gyrating around doing some consolidation. And since we are so close to this sell side liquidity, and in this big run going lower, we just fell short of touching that. I was pretty sure that we are going to tap into this liquidity pool from Monday's AM session. So once the market was trading over here and it failed to give a close above the open range gaps low, and we traded lower, we created this sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, this fair value gap, and you can see I entered at the low of this inefficiency. The market spent a little bit time around this fair value gap, and immediately at 247 started going lower. You can see once we started going lower, we created this fair value gap, and we have two candles and two chances over here. This is also the first presented fair value gap of PM session for today's trading. And look at the bodies when they are closing all below the consequent encouragement, and we left the inefficiency very strong. Then we spent a little bit time over here trying to accumulate for going short in smart money concept, and two more times we had the chance from the first presented fair value gap to enter for going short. And finally we delivered in the macro time between 250 310 PM session. We delivered the sell side liquidity, and you can see my exit over here. The markets kept going lower until the daily inefficiency consequent encouragement, and we had a kind of consolidation around this 50% of daily BC, then started rallying higher towards the first presented fair value gap in the PM session. And you can find the video of the live stream on my YouTube channel, as well as the video in the PM session that I recorded in shorts format, so you can check it out on my YouTube channel. And now I would like to thank you for watching the video, and do not forget to finger the like and subscribe buttons below. Daddy Trade Pie on YouTube is always available over here, and we'll talk to you another time on another live stream or trade review. Take care and be safe.